Yeah. I have 6 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Louisville City Council meeting for April 20th, 2026. We will start with our public hearings for ordinance number 26-19.
Being an ordinance amending Chapter 505 of the codified ordinances to add a new section, 505.16, which prohibits the feeding of wildlife.
Is anybody here to speak on ordinance number 26-19? Okay, let's move on to ordinance number 26-20.
Being an ordinance amending Chapter 905 sidewalks of the codified ordinances of the city of Louisville.
Is anyone here to speak on ordinance number 26-20? Okay, let's move to ordinance number 26-21.
Being an ordinance amending Chapter 141 of the codified ordinances to add a new section, 141.08, which allows for the police department to lawfully dispose of abandoned property.
Anyone here to speak on ordinance number 26-21? All right, I'll call this meeting to order and ask for approval of the April 20th, 2026 meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Godone.
Yes.
Please bow your heads for a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Johnston,
Here.
McAllister Atkins,
Here.
Street,
Here.
Aljansic,
Here.
Godone.
Here.
Okay, we have a certificate of an open meeting, and we will move on to persons appearing before council. First up is recognition of Ray and Lori Jensen for the e-bike donation.
Yes, Mayor. So Lori and Ray Jensen very generously donated money for the purchase of an e-bike, and I believe Officer Wortko has a statement she'd like to read. She will be the officer who operates that bike.
Absolutely. Do we have a microphone back there? Okay.
Okay, to Mr. and Mrs. Jensen, I wanted to formally thank you both for the generous donation to the City of Louisville Police Department for our new e-bike. It's an Adventon Adventure 3. I'm honored to be the one of the officers who will conduct e-bike patrol around the city. When I started as an officer with the city a year ago, one of the first wishes I had was to get an e-bike to begin bike patrol around our community. You both have made this reality, and I cannot wait to get out and ride. I really enjoy community outreach and engagement. I have served as a park ranger for Stark County Park District and have conducted miles of bike patrols. As bike patrol provides, especially on an e-bike, it improves community relations. Officers on bikes are more approachable and less intimidating than those in patrol cars, promoting positive interactions. Increased proactivity policing. Bikes provide the ability to move swiftly and silently, often allowing officers to catch criminals in the act. High mobility in dense areas, officers can navigate through crowds, pedestrian heavy zones, traffic jams, and narrow alleyways for more efficient than a vehicle. Access to restricted areas, bikes are great and ideal for bike patrols, trails, campus areas, and parking garages, which are hard to reach by car. They're cost efficient and sustainable with lower maintenance costs and no fuel expenses. Bicycles are financially savvy, eco-friendly option for departments. Enhanced officer health. Bike patrol is physically active duty and improves officer fitness and morale. Once again, thank you for being a reason to help our department and the community. Officer Workout.
Thank you.
As you can see, they were not able to make it tonight, but we will forward all of this to them.
Great. Thank you again, Mr. and Mrs. Jensen. Next up is a letter of commendation.
On March 12th, 2026, you met with a victim of abuse and dedicated all of your time and available resources to assist that victim with compassion, professionalism, and commitment to her safety and the safety of her family. Since becoming the domestic violence officer for the Louisville Police Department, you have always made the needs and safety of victims a priority by linking them with services, assisting victims with the court process, assisting them in obtaining protection orders, and providing victims with a sense of safety. Your tireless dedication and commitment to victim assistance reflects positively on you, the Louisville Police Department, and law enforcement as a whole. You are hereby commended for your work.
Okay, thank you again, Officer Wardco. Okay, we are moving into the official swearing ceremony, and we'll start with Lieutenant Miller. So Lieutenant Miller, family, everybody, come on up to the front. Yeah, right there would be great. All right. So you can raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Steve Miller,
I, Steve Miller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States
and obey the laws of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and that I will,
and that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Charter and ordinances
of the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Louisville,
of the City of Louisville,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Police Lieutenant for the City of Louisville.
of Police Lieutenant for the City of Louisville.
All right, congratulations. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much. All right. Next up is Officer Spoon. Okay. You can repeat after me with the right hand in the air. I, Michaela Spoon,
I, Michaela Spoon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States
and obey the laws of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the City of Louisville,
and ordinances of the City of Louisville,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of full-time police officer
of full-time police officer
for the City of Louisville.
for the City of Louisville.
Congratulations.
We need a picture.
I knock it off every time I walk by it.
Just leave it.
I'm just gonna stop putting it up there.
That's about it, too.
All right, congratulations to both of you. We will move on, ask for approval of the minutes from April 6th, 2026 council meeting.
I'll make that motion for approval.
Second.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
In front of you is the Mayor's Court of Report of Receipts and Disbursements for the month ending March 31st, 2026. I ask you to accept them as presented, and we'll move on to the financial report of receipt and disbursements for the month ending March 31st, 2026.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to go over a few highlights on the finance report. Income taxes are up 4.1% from where they were at this point last year. This coming month that we're in now, April, will be sort of a more important benchmark for that as obviously filing month. I also want to point out the general fund cash balance. Each month of the year actually so far has been pretty much almost perfectly in step with what it was in 2025, which suggests stability and also that the resources coming in are being used. We had some donations come in from the American Legion, about $950 each for police, fire, and service. And for as far as expenditures go, our target expenditure benchmark for March is 25%. We are at about 21% for all funds when you factor out interfund transfers. And the Star Ohio interest rate was 3.79%. I'd also like to add an additional note for the finance report. As of today, we have linked on the finance page of the city website a transparency portal that citizens can go on, click on, and get a more in-depth view of the city's financial performance for the last few years. And so we're going to be hopefully adding to that and expanding it out. Right now, it has data up through the end of 2025.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions for Matt?
No, keep doing the good job. Yeah.
Okay, very good. That brings us to ordinance number 26-19.
Being an ordinance amending Chapter 505 of the codified ordinances to add a new section, 505.16, which prohibits the feeding of wildlife.
I'll make a motion that we bring ordinance number 2619 to the table.
Second?
Mayor, as you know, this is the ordinance that would prohibit the feeding of wildlife on public property, within 200 feet of public property, and then within 100 feet of a property line. But I should point out, this does not preclude the feeding of domesticated animals or songbirds from the elevated bird feeders that you typically see throughout the city.
Okay. I know we've discussed this a lot in our past few meetings. Anything to add?
Yeah, I have nothing new. I mean, not outside of the one typo, which will be fixed, right?
Yeah, there's one small typo at the beginning of the added section where it says, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources strongly recommends against feeding wildlife, including but limited to. It should read, not limited to.
Okay.
Councilmember Gadone gets the gold star.
Yeah, I'll take my gold star, but I'm glad that there was a typo there, because it does, point us in the direction of pointing out that the Ohio Department of Natural Resources does strongly recommend exactly what we're passing tonight. So it's not just an idea that we came up with because of, that lends to it, not just because of some of the complaints that we've heard, but also the ODNR recommends passage of this ordinance also.
And other communities have this. This is not something we're doing exclusively.
Yeah, it's a great point, Tricia.
And I think what always stuck out to me is it's harmful to the animals.
Yes.
That's right.
It's harmful to the animals, so that's another reason, it throws off migration patterns, is a nuisance, just puts them in places where they don't belong and adversely affects their bodies, so.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Okay. Move on to ordinance number 26-20.
being an ordinance amending Chapter 905 sidewalks of the codified ordinances of the city of Louisville.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 26-20 to the table for its second reading.
Second.
All right, so Mayor, this does a couple of things. I'll run through it real quick. It does eliminate the need to advertise in a newspaper when we cannot find or contact the property owner whose sidewalk is in need of repair. Allows us to do that on the city's website and through social media. Beyond that, it extends a lot of the deadlines for residents to respond to us with what they want to do, gives them more time to fix sidewalks on their own. It also eliminates the requirement that we pass an ordinance to assess the property taxes when a resident chooses to have them assessed. And then it also waives the permit that would otherwise be required for sidewalks being replaced. Separate from the ordinance, but also what is changing in the program is that we will allow residents to extend that payment if they choose to a 10-year assessment versus the current 5-year assessment.
With no fee, correct?
Correct. Well, there's a small interest charge that we don't have control over, but yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, I again appreciate those consumer and resident-friendly changes that we made to the program that I think has shown good benefits over the last few years, so. Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Declare ordinance number 26-20 duly passed and enacted. Move on to ordinance number 26-21.
being an ordinance amending Chapter 141 of the codified ordinances to add a new section, 141.08, which allows for the police department to lawfully dispose of abandoned property.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 26-21 to the table for its second reading.
Second.
Yep, Mayor, this simply codifies in our ordinances what is already practice and consistent with existing state law to allow the police department to dispose of property that comes into their custody through various means.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah, not a whole lot of discussion here.
Okay. Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Declare ordinance number 26-21 duly passed and enacted. Move on to ordinance number 26-24.
being an ordinance to revise the codified ordinances by adopting current replacement pages and declaring an emergency.
I'll make a motion that we bring ordinance 2624 to the table for its first reading.
Second.
I remember once a year, the Walter H. Drain Company updates our ordinance book with all of the legislation passed by city council in the prior year, as well as revisions made in the state law that cause changes in our ordinances. And this particular ordinance will authorize that, and we are asking for it by emergency so that the book and what ultimately appears online is consistent with existing law.
Okay, sorry. Any questions?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Algeantic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Make a motion, we suspend the rules to consider ordinance number 26-24 by emergency.
I'll second.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Algeantic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Tiffany, can you read it again?
being an ordinance to revise the codified ordinances by adopting current replacement pages and declaring an emergency.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 26-24 to the table for its second reading.
Second?
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Algeantic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Declare ordinance number 26-24 duly passed and enacted. Moving on to ordinance number 26-25.
being an ordinance making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Louisville, Stark County, state of Ohio, for the year beginning January 1st, 2026.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 26-25 to the table for its first reading.
Second?
This is an appropriations ordinance to reflect the three $950 donations that the finance director referenced earlier. Also reflects the $1,999 that Ray and Lori Jensen donated for the e-bike. And then additionally, not a donation, but it appropriates $5,000 from the general fund that council agreed to provide for the fireworks at Chamberfest this year.
Okay. And appropriations have to be done by emergency.
Yes, they do, per
Yes.
the charter, yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Algeantic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Make a motion, we suspend the rules to consider ordinance number 26-25 by emergency.
Second.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Algeantic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Please read it again.
being an ordinance making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Louisville, Stark County, state of Ohio, for the year beginning January 1st, 2026.
I'll make a motion, we bring ordinance number 26-25 to the table for its second reading.
Second?
Okay. Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Algeantic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
I'll declare ordinance number 26-25 duly passed and enacted. Move on to ordinance number 26-26.
being an ordinance amending Chapter 509 disorderly conduct and peace disturbance of the codified ordinances to add a new section, 509.13, which provides regulation regarding keeping, occupying, frequenting disorderly houses, disturbing the peace.
I'll make a motion, we bring ordinance 2626 to the table for the first reading.
I'll second.
I remember, so this is the ordinance that we discussed at the last meeting that will essentially be a tool for the police department to deal with, although infrequent, the occasional, I'll call it a party house, where you have large gatherings, where you have nuisance issues such as drug use, illegal alcohol use, indecent conduct, those types of things. So this is kind of a catch-all ordinance that would, again, give the police department a tool to address that type of conduct in those environments with both people who attend those types of events as well as the property owners.
Tanya or Rachel, I guess. Is this something is it pretty similar? Is our ordinance pretty similar to what you see in other communities?
Yes. Yeah, we looked at how other cities handle this, and that's how we modeled the ordinance.
Okay. I mean, I don't see anything in here that's unreasonable.
No.
It's just nice to have that tool if needed, you know,
Thank you.
in the tool belt. So happy to support. Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Okay. Move to ordinance number 26-27.
being an ordinance accepting the final plat for Stonebridge Crossing Phase 1, located within the corporate limits of the city of Louisville, Ohio.
I'll make a motion, we bring ordinance number 2627 to the table for its first reading.
I'll second.
So, Mayor, this is the plot that was approved by the Planning Commission for the residential design of the area that is west of Reno as you go back into the Stonebridge lot. Currently, there are a handful of three-story townhouses there. And there's going to be further development there pursuant to this plot that was approved and then prior to that requested by the developer.
Did they give any timelines on that they were hopeful for?
Yes, the plat we're talking about, they hope to be starting on within a couple months. There's a second phase, it's 5 additional houses on the north side, that probably be a few more months down the road.
Okay.
So there's nothing here where we could slow them down by taking another, what's it, you know, it doesn't have to be passed by emergency.
No, I think their plan was the end of this month anyway, so
Okay.
you know. And at this point, if you're familiar with the area, it's been developed over the last 20 years. I mean, so all the utilities, streetlights, roads, everything's already in phase 1 section, so it shouldn't take very long.
Just finishing it in a slightly different fashion than what was approved prior.
Oh, I got you, okay.
Great.
Did you say there was a phase 2 going on the north side
Yeah.
of Reno?
Yeah, you know where the townhomes are, it would be right, sort of right across the street, there'll be 5, there's a parcel they own, there'll be
Okay.
5 lots.
Okay.
Great. Let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Okay, that brings us to our public speaks for non-agenda items. And we have Mr. Mark Sigler in the audience.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak this evening. I come to you this evening as a representative of the Louisville Levy Committee, and it is a completely separate entity from the school system. We're a committee that is working to pass issue 3, which is on the May 5th ballot. I want to congratulate all of you on your success and your recent elections, promotions. Certainly congratulate the officers with their awards and promotions this evening. Something that I heard the police chief mention was dedication and commitment. And certainly city council and all the supporting staff show a great level of commitment. You know who else shows a great level of commitment? Teachers, bus drivers, coaches, custodians, cooks, secretaries, administrators. They show a great level of commitment to who? To our kids, the kids in our community. And there's one more group that I'd like to point out and say thank you, thank you, thank you for their commitment. And that's every single taxpayer in our school district. Imagine knocking on doors and asking people, please, will you increase your vote, your taxes on yourself? And that's what's happened over the years in this community. And because of actions from the state, the load has shifted just in the last 10 years from 60% support from the state to now down around under 40%, about 38.6% from the state. So what a great thing that the people of our community have risen up, have stepped up to the plate and are supporting our kids and our wonderful staff and employees of this school system. That's my timer. I wanted to leave for a couple minutes. I wanted to leave a minute, or I don't know how much time I have.
You got 5 minutes, you got another 5 minutes.
I wanted to leave a minute or two for questions, but let me just say that, you know, it goes without saying. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the biggest thing that we can say. This issue that's on is a renewal. And by law, the renewal is not asking for new money. The renewal is only asking to continue the existing contract, the contract that's in place. The contract in place right now, this particular levy, raises $2,560,000. It's going to continue to raise $2.56 million. It cannot, by law, increase. So, as the signs say, no new tax. And there's a great report, and you hear people refer to it all the time regarding school systems in Ohio. It's called the CUP report, C-U-P-P, named in honor of a former House Speaker at the Ohio legislature. But if you look at that, you see where Louisville falls out of over the 600 school districts, where we fall with regards to administrative costs, per pupil costs, and it breaks it down across the state and also across the county. Don't take my word for it. Look it up on the CUP report and see where Louisville ranks. We get more bang for the buck from our staff for our kids than almost every other district. We're down in the bottom 7% or so of Ohio on how we support our kids with what we're given. And within the county, I know some of the things are said, well, we spend more than us. No, we don't. We are below the Stark County average. We're certainly below the Ohio average in what we spend. Administratively, I'm trying to keep track. And I'll stop. Administratively, we not only are below the average as far as number of administrators, we are also below the average in the amount that they're paid. Not only across, again, the county, but across the state. So, again, speaking of commitment, we've made a great commitment. The thing about the property taxes that supports our school, that money stays right here. It stays in Louisville. It stays in this school district. Between the city of Louisville and Nimishillen Township, we keep that right here for our kids. I'm going to stop, but again, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come. Thank you for the citizens of Louisville, the taxpayers that have supported this school system over the years. We're asking once again on May 5th for your support for issue 3. Any questions?
I'd just like to thank you, Mark, for your commitment to our community and coming in and giving some very good information to our residents about how important it is that we keep a good school system. I think it's important for people to understand, too, that there's no tax dollars that mix between the city and the schools. There's a lot of things on social media that I think there's some confusion there. This resolution that we're going to vote on tonight is just support for it. There's no tax dollars from the city that actually cross over into the school system. And the other thing to remember, too, I think, is there are really two vital things that people look at when they talk about moving into a community. And that's probably the school system where families want to move into a good community with good schools, and the safety of the community. And we have both of those going for us now, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I'll probably support this resolution here tonight, supporting our schools.
Yes, thank you. And I believe if people want to know more, isn't there another community meeting tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, there'll be a meeting at the middle school, Louisville Middle School at 1300 South Chapel,
Yeah.
6:30 in the middle school auditorium area there, so.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, please.
Mark, thank you for your years of service on the school board. And also, I'm glad you brought up the CUP report, because last I checked, I think what we spend per student, we are 586th out of 608 public school districts in the state of Ohio. I don't think people would be very happy if our results were 586th out of 608 districts in the state. A lot of people would be upset, but our achievement, we're in the top 25%. most every single year when you look. And so I can't imagine, I'm glad you brought up again about the local dollars stay local. There's plenty of things in Washington DC I would love to not send tax dollars for. There's a lot of things in Columbus that I would love to not spend my tax dollars for, but your local property tax, that is what pays for, your roads, your police, your schools, your parks, between your local property and your local income tax, and that's what you see the return on. And I hope people realize that is what you get a bang for your buck. And if you don't like something, you can show up. It's your neighbor. You can go knock on his door, or knock on one of our doors, knock on one of your school board member doors, or come to a meeting. I think the best government is the one closest to the people, and I hope people are willing to see what the state has done. I saw what Ohio supports out of 50 states. We are 45th in what the actual state government spends on education. They have shifted that burden to the local taxpayers, and unfortunately, we are just asking, I think, Louisville City Schools to stay what we have. We're going to manage with what we've got, because as property values go up, those taxes on this renewal levy just stay exactly the same.
So, am I correct on this? The more we build new homes and things of that nature, does that tax burden actually come down for the property owners if more houses, more people move into the district itself?
It absolutely should. I'm not gonna state here that I would wanna check with the auditor, and we're gonna have an auditor's representative tomorrow night, but I like to describe it as the pie. And that pie is $2.56 million. It cannot get any bigger. And thanks to your leadership, our community has grown. When this was passed, our valuation as a community was a little over 400 million. Now we're over 600 million. So what took 5.9 mils, the original issue was 5.9. Now it's only gonna take about 4 mils. So that's I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because that's a question I have myself for tomorrow night.
This specific levy, you are correct.
For this specific.
It wouldn't matter if Intel came here and brought 1,000 jobs. Like, this levy would stay exactly as, and that's due to a law passed in Ohio in the 70s. It flattens levies, what they can collect, and it doesn't increase with inflation. Now, back end things, like there's different things with property tax, but this specific one is flatlined.
And the Louisville City School District is a employer of the city of Louisville, right? Am I correct on that, Andy?
Yes,
One of our top.
one of the top, correct.
One of the top, so I mean,
So they do
it just
pay,
makes
yeah.
business, or makes sense to support
They pay
one of our
significant income
businesses,
tax.
yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Sigler.
All right, I'll go ahead and make a resolution, I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 26-28 that endorses the Louisville City Schools renewal levy on the May 2026 ballot.
I'll second that.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
I'm pro-public education, but because I am employed by Louisville City Schools, I'm going to respectfully abstain.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 2628 passes. Next up is, I know at our last council meeting, there was some statements made in regards to an officer's conduct. And again, not everybody's here in person, but some viewed online and had a lot of questions. So we were hoping Chief would be able to clear some of that up.
Sure. I reviewed the body camera footage in response to what was communicated at the last council meeting, and I just wanted to share what I viewed on the camera, and that was also shared with all of you. So Lieutenant Steed arrived at 620 North Nickel Plate after hearing the radio traffic of the fire department being toned out for a residential fire. He arrived and parked his vehicle across the street to be out of the way for the arriving fire trucks. He arrived on scene after the call went out on the radio. As soon as he arrived, he exited his vehicle. He took the fire extinguisher out of his trunk and ran towards the house. He spoke to Kathy Pugh, who was on the front porch, asked her if everyone was out of the house. She stated everyone was, except for her cat. Lieutenant Steed then went around the house where Kathy said the fire was located and attempts to put out the fire himself. When Lieutenant Steed realized he could not put out the fire due to how quickly it was spreading, he returned to his patrol vehicle and then communicated that and updated the fire department. He advised Kathy she should come away from the house and come sit in his patrol car so that she would be safe. She stated she did not have any shoes on. He then ran to his patrol car, pulled up to the porch so that Kathy could safely get in the car. Once Kathy got in the car, she stated that she needed to call her son, but she did not have her phone. Lieutenant Steed unlocked his personal cell phone, offered it to Kathy so she could contact her family. While they were in the patrol car, Lieutenant Steed and Kathy engaged in pleasant conversation regarding various topics. When she advised him about items in her home, he relayed pertinent information to the fire department over the radio. I would just like to acknowledge within 4.5 minutes of responding to the call, Lieutenant Steed attempted to put out the fire himself, updated the fire department with the location and spreading of the fire, made sure the victim was safely away from the home and inside his patrol vehicle, and before parting ways, he advised Kathy to contact him if she ever needed anything.
Thank you, Chief Carasello, and I think that's valuable information to have out there. Okay, let's move on to the city manager's report.
Just a couple of things, Mayor. There was conversation about potentially legislation that would prohibit future use of the wooded area on the north side of Metzger Park. So just wanted to have some brief discussion regarding that and get kind of a better understanding of what you would like us to bring forward as far as an ordinance that would do just that. And I believe the concept started with Councilman Gadone.
Yeah, I guess my reasoning behind it was because, I mean, we all know what it did turn into. How it started and what it turned into were two completely different things. And there's going to come a day where none of us on this dais will be here anymore, and it will be somebody else. So I guess just in order to protect that natural walking area, that trail, it'd be nice to have something in place that would protect the integrity of that natural trail. And, you know, the fact that it was put together by a couple young Eagle Scouts for their project, you know, should tell us that that's probably the way it should remain. And Andy and I got together a little bit today, and we were kind of looking at the map and how going east from that trail, it could be extended quite a ways, which, you know, it would run parallel with the current hard track. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe we could have another Eagle Scout sometime in the near future that could use that as an opportunity for their project. So that's my reasoning behind it. How it's worded and how you guys would like to see it, right? If you agree with me, then, you know, that, I guess that would be up to.
You see, sometimes I walk that part.
Oh, I caught you there.
And it's really nice, and I mean, you hear the birds and everything, and the different animals and stuff like that. It's nice, and I knew the Boy Scouts that had worked on it. You know, I told them what a great job they did. They
Yeah,
really did.
yeah.
They poured their heart into their project, their Eagle Scout projects.
It was Kyle Osler and one of the Appleby boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So you get a variety of walking paths in our
Sure.
city. Yeah.
Right, they could run parallel, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and this might be a good opportunity, Andy, to expand kind of what, you know, if you're willing to, what the trail looks like, the other location we found, and kind of what it looks like for the fall, because we still want people coming in. We don't want to be anti-events, but to maybe share the other location that we're looking at and what the recent progress has been.
Sure. So when that originally started, we were, I guess, trying to balance what we know as the community's interest in having more things to do in Louisville with, you know, with being responsible. And I think it was so successful that it maybe grew beyond what any of us anticipated. So in conversations with the mayor, we were talking about alternate locations to where we could still maintain that balance, continue the event, but also respect the wishes and the, I guess, the the privacy of the people that live in the area adjacent to those woods. So with the recycling center having moved back to its original location near the Constitution Center, we, after doing some checking, decided that would probably be the best location. So they, if you'll remember, council did authorize that location for this purpose. I know that they have already started work out there. It certainly seems to be a more appropriate place, and there's considerably more distance between where that will take place and the far fewer residents that live in the area. So that's where we're at with that. We're hoping that it certainly continues to grow and continues to be a place for people who live in Louisville, and maybe even people outside of Louisville, to come and enjoy that type of event.
Let's see, I also walked back there, you know, where the recycling was, and I was amazed. If you walk back to where the bins had been, that woods is huge.
It is big.
And some of those trails, you know, they're being made, but I mean, it is awesome.
Well, and from an appearance standpoint, unlike what was kind of necessary at Metzger Park, you won't see a lot of what happens there once it's not operating. A lot of what's taking place now in terms of preparation is taking place in the woods that's shielded from, you know, public view. So it's
Right.
better in that respect as well.
How many acres is it?
I believe in total it's 8 acres.
Oh, wow.
Something like
I'd
that. I
have to
mean,
look.
like, from the road, it doesn't look that big, but if you actually walk and look in, and think, wow.
Right, and if you'll remember, that land previously had a business located there, and I believe it was the 2003 flood
Yes.
that caused that business to have to close, and then we purchased the land with money from the federal government.
My first time.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think it's just, it highlights an example where we can have a win-win. You're not gonna have a permanent structure, built right there.
Right, nothing will be permanent.
It,
It'll be-
you know, and so we have the space, we can make it work, we can get it out of the residents' backyard, and we'd be able to preserve the trail, you know, for its intended purpose, especially in the fall. You know, that's
Right.
probably the
Right.
prettiest time to be in the woods, and so I think this, good opportunity. I'm not against it at all. I would probably just want to make sure that we weren't limiting ourselves down the road in case the park was doing something in that direction. So as long as the city isn't limiting itself with that ordinance, I'd be willing to support it.
Okay, thanks, Corey. Appreciate that.
So we will bring back legislation to the next meeting.
Yep, that'd be
to do
great.
just that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Tanya.
And then just some reminders for May. Our second Friday will be May 8th downtown with a very popular Journey tribute band.
Escape, yeah.
All right.
On May 23rd is the 5K event that will be done in partnership with Unhitched Brewing. And at the same time, or shortly after, the first artisan market of the season will take place on Main Street. Then on Memorial Day, the 25th, we will do a ceremony in front of City Hall with a Gulf War veteran speaker and some other components to the program. And then by invitation, on the 27th, is the Visit Canton kickoff event in the alley to celebrate Stark County tourism and the beginning of our America 250 celebrations.
Good. Busy one.
Okay.
And that is all I have.
All right. Any questions?
What time was the Memorial Day celebration?
10 a.m.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, and I'd love everybody in the audience or watching at home, that Memorial Day celebration is something that, you know, Tricia, Andy, and myself have been really working on, trying to pump some new life into it. We've looped in some downtown businesses, and we're gonna really try to make it something special this year for the 250th anniversary. So we'd love to see everybody there at 10 a.m. for a brief 30, 40-minute ceremony that loops in some kids from the high school and some nice speakers and
Yeah, the American Legion.
in the Legion. So hope to see you there. Okay, Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to respond, when Kathy was up here and talked about some issues that we can discuss some of those that she had concerns with. A couple of those, one was, the time frame it took for us to get there. I believe the time she was on the phone. Stark County does our dispatching. I spoke to them today. They sent me the times on it. From the time she had given all her information, her name, her address and everything, till they toned us out was 22 seconds. So they toned us out right away. I got en route 3 minutes and 50 seconds after that tone out went. Our engine got en route 5 minutes after that tone. The truck got on scene about 8 minutes, and within 1 minute we had water on the fire. So 9 minutes we had water on this fire, which is really good. We had a crew in the back door. Flames were coming out the back of the door. They went in and they did what's called knockdown. And when you hear that on the radio, it sounds like the fire's out. And she had made comment that she heard the fire was knocked down. All they're saying, and we got the radio communication of it, is they knocked down the fire on the first floor so they could proceed to the second floor where the heavy fire was. So that was the reason there was called a knockdown. One of the other things was she heard on the radio when she was sitting in the police cruiser of out of water. What she heard, and according to what we have on tape, is Nimichon's engine was on scene. They have tank water. We had an extra person with a hose line hitting the outside of that building because it was on fire on the outside also, as we had two crews inside. One come in the back door, one went in the front door, taking hand lines off of our engine, which we have a positive water supply coming off a hydrant. That truck was supplied by its own water out of its tank. That's when that operator from the Michonne told that person we're out of water. All the thing that were out of water was the outside from that engine going to that. It wasn't on the inside. The hydrants didn't shut down, didn't break, nothing like that. We had continuous water on the fire. So that was just some of the things that I wanted to bring up. So she had some questions about, unless somebody else has any more questions.
Thank you. You guys did, I did watch that footage, and both fire and police did a wonderful job. I feel terrible for Mrs. Pugh and what she had gone through, but you guys did everything right, everything you could have, and thank you.
If you watch the video, when Officer Steed went to the back of the house, there was flames right beside the chimney, which was too big for the fire
He was already
extinguisher.
involved.
And then if you wait till he gets in his cruiser with Kathy and they back up away for us to get in, and if you start looking, flames are already at the roof, and we're not even there yet. That's how quick it goes. But it was also a wind-driven fire. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds that night, and they were heading to the east, which explains why the whole garage went right away on the outside.
And
Plus, yeah, the construction of the house that you talked about before too.
Frame construction, once it gets inside, once it gets in that, it can go from the basement clear to the attic, and nothing's gonna stop it. And that's exactly what happened. So the state fire marshal, we brought them in, they did their investigation, and they determined it was undetermined. They're not gonna be able to pinpoint exactly what the cause was. The origin is in the fireplace area around the chimney somewhere, but they're not gonna pinpoint, was it the fireplace, was it the chimney, was it the firebox, was it what was in the fireplace? That they can't tell.
Yeah, I did hear her mention during the call, or during the video, that she does have a fire every night. So it was
Yeah, there was a fire that
common
night,
thing,
yeah.
right?
Right. And it was cold that night, there was snow on the ground. so,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just sad. It's a
Right.
sad
It is.
situation, but I appreciate the professionalism from both, our fire and our police on how they responded, so.
You're welcome. And then secondly, the question come up about 701 North Nickel Plate, that three-story wood building there. I did make contact with Caitlin, their part-time manager there, and we have an appointment on Thursday at 10:30 to go over a fire safety talk with all the residents that want to get involved. So that's this Thursday at 10:30.
That's great.
Thank you.
You asked me to come back with that, so that's where we're at with that.
Yeah.
The only other thing they had mentioned about that building, they said they had had no drills, the residents weren't sure what to do. Is that something she was able to follow up on, or did you guys not?
We'll talk
broach
about that on
Okay.
Thursday, but that is a private residential we have no jurisdiction like our fire safety inspections.
Okay.
We cannot go in and inspect that building because that's an apartment building.
Okay.
The only thing we do get is the inspection report from the sprinkler system because it has a riser in it. It is sprinkled with a fire pump. We get that every year, but we're not allowed to go in and inspect because they're residential.
So it's different than a school or something like that.
Commercial structure.
So what would you encourage residents to do if they have concerns?
Ask questions. I mean, we'll sit there and we'll talk to them. I'm gonna take
Okay.
one of the officers with me
Okay.
from the fire prevention, and we're gonna talk to them, get them all the questions, get them all at ease. Because I heard they were worried the fire might come over there, it was never gonna go over there, you know, things like that. I understand their concerns and they're scared, but we wanna get them feeling okay.
Sure.
And let them know what to do in case they do have a fire.
Great.
So,
Okay.
how we're gonna handle them.
Well, you guys cleared up a lot for us. tonight.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks. Dave?
Mayor, council, I have nothing unless there's questions.
No. All right. Daryl?
Thank you, Mayor. Just some quick updates. Hopefully good news. The parks, I'm excited to report the Aljancic restrooms are open. They're up and running. That's basically a lot of what we're working on lately is the parks, getting things up and going with that. I know some of the things that we've talked about in the Parks Committee meetings revolves around the new fields down there at Vesker Park. The dugouts are here. They haven't been assembled yet. We have a concrete contractor. He's gonna come out probably this week and start work on that so we can get the dugouts, some benches up. And then we're working on a lot of the America 250 stuff, getting set up for that. So you'll see our crews out working on a lot of that stuff around town. So we'll be out there working on that stuff. We posted for a service laborer. So for anybody out there that's looking to work for the city of Louisville, we have a position open. We're trying to get all this stuff done and make it nice. So need all the help we can get.
How many people sat for the test last time that we had it?
3 applied, 2 sat.
Okay.
So we put it back out there again. We kind of tried to be a little bit more, I guess I'll use the word aggressive with our advertising. Chief was nice enough to try to help get it out there to some of the younger kids, the schools, RT Drag, I think, some of those places, try to
Great.
advertise that a little bit better.
I thought it looked very nice.
Yeah, I think you guys did a
Yes.
great job of that, so, here's hoping. But yeah, other than that, I really don't have anything else. I'll take any questions.
This is a full-time position, one full-time position, okay.
We just posted for seasonal help too, to help mow grass, but that's summer help. So a little bit of both.
One as well for that, for the seasonal?
I think we can do 2 for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Very good. Chief?
Nothing else, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Matt, anything else?
I will let my report stand as presented. But if you get a chance, check out that transparency portal. Any feedback is appreciated.
Sure, will do, man.
Okay. All right, very good. I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose to consider the possible purchase of real estate.
Go ahead, Tricia.
Second?
Oh, okay, I'll make the motion.
You made the motion, sorry.
You'll motion her second.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, let's go ahead and vote.
Johnston,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Street,
Yes.
Aljancic,
Yes.
Godone,
Yes.
Okay, and there no action expected afterwards, and we will move to the conference room. Thank you, everybody, for coming.